One of the best fight night main events that we have ever seen goes down this Saturday, and this is where we're going to find out if Israel Adesanya will continue fighting, because I almost guarantee that a loss means he retires Saturday night. Well, Saturday morning for me, because it's in Saudi Arabia and on the Saudi Arabian time slot. But this is where we find out if Israel Adesanya is going to be fighting after Saturday night. So in this video, we're going to talk about the fight, do an official prediction and breakdown. So stick around to hear my thoughts on the main event of UFC Saudi Arabia, Adesanya versus Imavov. I'm Wyatt, and this is Fight Society. Before we get into the video, guys, please make sure to like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. All that good YouTube stuff really helps me out a lot. If you want access to bonus content and you want to help me grow this thing even further by supporting the channel a little bit extra, become a channel member through the link below this video or the join button on our channel homepage. Really helps the channel out a lot, and access to bonus content, members only live streams and things like that. So thank you very much. Back to the video. The best fight night main event that we have seen in quite some time. I actually can't remember the last time Izzy was on a fight night, but we have it now. And it's amazing. It's going to be an incredibly entertaining, hopefully, because it has a chance to come out boring with the way these guys fight. But it's going to be extremely technical, an extremely technical striking battle that I hope has a little bit of fireworks, because Izzy, as a contender, has shown a willingness to kind of slang some leather. You know what I'm saying? When he was champ, it was very, very boring. We had champ Izzy and contender Izzy were very obviously two different types of mindsets. Izzy fought very safe as champion. Marvin Vettori, Rob Whittaker too, Jared Cannonier, Yoel Romero, very boring, safe approaches to very anticipated fights, most of them. When he was contender, he was KOing guys, getting into firefights. You remember the Gastelum fight? Now, he was very irresponsible defensively in that fight. Overall, I mean, getting finishes. Even the Paulo Costa one, he was champ for that one. But Paulo Costa, Izzy had a distinct shift at some point with how much he decided to push on the gas as a champion. As a contender, he's much more hungry, firefights, willing to mix it up more and go for the kill. He tried to do that against DDP, and DDP just got him. Bulldozer DDP, wore him out, took him down, got his back, choked him out. And that loss ages well. I mean, DDP is proving himself to be way better and way harder to beat than most people expected. And Adesanya fought like contender Izzy when he was challenging DDP for the belt. And that's what I hope we're going to see this weekend. I think we're going to see and hope we're going to see contender Adesanya. Imavov does have a sense of urgency, but he can get into this playing the range, not pushing the pace type of game, especially the first couple of rounds. Imavov tends to take his time, and then he'll get late finishes if he does get them. But overall, he's very technical. And that's why I actually think that it's going to be on Israel Adesanya to make this a hard fight for Imavov, because I think Imavov is going to do his typical style where he fights out of the southpaw stance, teeps to the body, rear leg body kicks, ones and twos, clinch knees. That's Imavov's game plan. Keep it clean. He will grapple if he needs to. He does stall against the fence if he gets tired, but that's Imavov's game plan. I think that he's going to try to keep Israel Adesanya somewhat boxed in, try to clinch up against the fence, try to Muay Thai clinch, knee to the body, wear Izzy out. And I think it's going to really be on Izzy to get back to space, because I think he's genuinely much better than Imavov in space. But let's take a look at how these guys got to this fight. Right here, we have Israel Adesanya, how he got here. He's lost 3 of his last 4, okay? He had a very dominant title reign, became interim champ. Actually, here, we'll look at his whole UFC career. Rob Wilkinson debut, win. Vettori, win. Brad Tavares, win. Derek Brunson, win. Anderson Silva, win. Kelvin Gastelum, interim champ, win. Izzy has a crazy good resume, as much as people like to diminish it sometimes. Rob Whittaker, KO, win. Yoel, win. Terrible fight. Paulo Costa, win. Jan Blachowicz lost, but it was up a weight class without trying to put on any muscle. He went in there at like 198 pounds against Jan Blachowicz and just got out-grappled, outstruck, outsized, all of that. And then he came back to middleweight, beat Vettori, Whittaker, and Cannonier, and then Alex Pereira, boogeyman of Adesanya's career, the guy the face of the UFC now. KO'd Pereira for the storyline, got one of those wins back, one of the greatest KOs in UFC history. If you consider stakes, if you consider the rivalry, the fact that he had just had a dominant title reign ended by Pereira, and when you consider how much bigger Pereira is than Izzy as well, huge moment. And then since then, took the Strickland fight on 6 weeks notice because he thought it was going to be DDP. Just didn't show up. He got a DUI 3 weeks before the fight. He just wasn't locked in. He didn't take Sean Strickland seriously. I think he was feeling himself as champ, as a dominant champion, and coming off of a win over his arch rival who had beaten him already 3 times. I think that the Sean Strickland fight was a bad night for Izzy. The DDP fight, though, was just a great fight, and DDP's way better than we thought he was. That was one of the best fights of 2024 was the UFC 305 main event. Izzy was digging to the body. I think he was injured because he wasn't really throwing that many wasn't really throwing that many kicks compared to usual. He was doing a lot of like jab to the head, right hook to the body and things like that. It was not typical Izzy. He was more forward. He was more aggressive, but it was a more boxing heavy Izzy that we weren't really used to. It wasn't as much range play from Izzy. So that's how he got to this fight here with Imavov, where if he loses, we might see him retire. But Nassourdine Imavov is still looking to make his come up. You know, he's 29, he's 15-4. His losses are all good. Like they're respectable losses. Let's take a look at his career. Beat Brendan Allen, beat Cannonier, controversial stoppage, beat Dolidze. I don't know how that was a majority decision. He cooked him. No contest on an accidental clash of heads to Chris Curtis. If you ask me, Chris Curtis was getting his ass whooped and he looked for a way out of that fight. The Sean Strickland fight, he took on like 4 days notice. I forgot. I think he was maybe supposed to fight Marvin Vettori or Roman Dolidze. I can't remember. But they pulled out on like Monday of fight week. So Strickland, because he lives in Vegas, took a fat check to fight at 205 because he's not going to cut that much weight on 3 days notice, 4 days notice. They did the fight at 205 pounds and Strickland won. Short notice Strickland. He did it to Izzy too. It's part of what led to the 2023 that made Sean Strickland such a big name. Before that, he beat Buckley, Edmund Shabazian, Ian Heinisch. The Phil Hawes loss looks really fucking bad, not going to lie. And then before that, losses were before the UFC. He got submitted in his first fight, lost a decision. But, in the UFC, Phil Hawes, that does not age well at all, but it was by decision. At least he didn't get finished. And then Strickland and a no contest with Chris Curtis. And this one was short notice and he should have won this one. So very impressive resume. And they have similar styles with the striking. They just have different styles of striking. They both like their 1s and 2s. They both like rear leg teep kicks to the body and kicks to the head from the rear side. Imavov does like to close the distance, push up against the fence, grind it out a little bit more than Izzy. Izzy likes to style on him from distance. Now, what do I think is going to happen in this fight? Personally, I think contender Izzy is just unmatched, and I think that Imavov has not fought the level that Izzy has. If we're talking about Dolidze and Brendan Allen, now Jared Cannonier, tough fight. Izzy had a tough fight with him as well. Although he dominated him, it was very competitive. It was like a competitive ass whooping. Jared Cannonier got controversially stopped against Imavov, if you guys remember the Louisville card. But if you look at the level of competition that Imavov has fought, Brendan Allen, nowhere near Adesanya. Cannonier, controversial stoppage. Dolidze, nowhere near Adesanya. Chris Curtis, nowhere near Adesanya. Sean Strickland beat Adesanya, but there's weird circumstances, like Izzy not being his best at UFC 293, or Imavov getting this fight on like 4 days notice against Strickland. I mean, he flew over from France. He wasn't going to not fight. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not defending Izzy's performance at UFC 293. The last thing I am is an Izzy defender. He's gotten I've talked some of the most shit about Izzy on my channel. In this fight, I still think Adesanya as a contender is him. And I think he's going to be too much championship experience. And I think Izzy is going to come out, not like aggressive, but aggressive for Izzy, And I think he's going to low kick at range, teep kicks to the body, feel out the range. Imavov typically has slow starts. I think the first round is going to be very boring. I think Izzy is going to win a very dominant, like 49-46 decision, unless he catches Imavov. But Imavov has never been KO'd. He's never been TKO'd. He's only been submitted once, and it was his very first pro fight. Other than that, his 3 losses are decisions. I think Izzy, who has been a decision machine before, is going to get a very dominant 49-46, maybe a 48-47, but It's better for the UFC if Israel Adesanya wins. And the fight's taking place in Saudi Arabia, so we know there's going to be a little bit of fuckery with the scorecards if there needs to be. My official prediction is Israel Adesanya by decision. Let me know what you guys think below. Thanks for watching this video. Please make sure to like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. It really helps me out a lot. If you want access to bonus content, become a channel member today by clicking the join button on our channel homepage or the link down below this video. If you're interested in some non-MMA content from me, go check out my podcast, What's Up Bro, with Wyatt and Bo, in the link down below. Go watch this suggested video, and I'll see you next time.